If you want to quit drinking and start creating, click through, watch this video. Maybe give this channel a try. I am the Alcoholic Audio Engineer, coming to you from lovely, scenic Paju City, South Korea. And this is my face. I had basically just given up on this channel, but the last video that I put up, the almighty Malgorithm, I guess, smiled on it a little bit, and it got some views, and I got a couple of nice comments. One of them made a remark about my reverb, so I turned it down a little bit. It's down to 1.9%. All right, so I've also been told that I'm trying to appeal to two niche audiences that are too widely disparate, drunks and audio nerds. And that might be true, but that's what I have to offer. I'm a recovering drunk, and I'm really, really into home audio production and audio work. It helped me to help me turn the corner. It saved my life. It got me through the long, lonely, desolate, miserable, endless, insomniac nights when all I wanted to do was reach for a bottle. And I didn't. So I'm not changing my format. This is what I do. If you're a drunk and you need something better to do with your time, give this a shot. The purpose of this video is to show you something that you could do entry level. You don't even need a microphone. You just need a computer and maybe a pair of headphones and your ears and your brain, what's left of it. And this will help you repair the damage that's been done to your noodle and the rest of your central nervous system and other things as well. So this is what I have. This is what I have to offer the world. And if you cut booze out of your life, then you can wake up in the morning looking like this. All right? It's probably an improvement. If you're boozing a lot, it's probably an improvement to look like this when you wake up. I know it was for me. Or at least, you wake up feeling this way. Let's put it that way. You wake up looking like this inside. Yeah? So the last video I did was remastering, who was it? Al Jolson. Al Jolson, and the tune was April Showers. And from 1921 or 22, I think it was 1921. And therefore it's public domain, at least according to my research. Anything that old is public domain. But YouTube still kind of dinged me with copyright. But they said, this is copyright, but okay. It's like, thanks, YouTube. It's public domain, assholes. Sorry, I curse. Anyways, this time, I'm just going to wing it, all right? I'm going to show you how to do this from the get-go, all right? So, again, this is something that you can do that's better than poisoning your mind, heart, body, soul with booze. It's better, and it takes time, and it takes focus and attention, and it grows on you. I promise, and anybody can do this. All right, so we're taking an old song that was recorded more than 100 years ago, and we're just seeing if we can make it sound better to our ears, to our brain. All right, so anyways. So if you're absolutely new to this, and if you're not a drunk, welcome to you as well. I mean, this is just for anybody that might find this interesting, but I'm especially appealing to drunks because it helped me, and I'm trying to pay it forward. All right, so if you're totally brand new to this and you'd like to give it a shot, you could follow along and do this. You could just pause the video at each step and do this with me, all right? So first thing I'm going to do is, here is the internet such as it is. Here is one of the endless videos on how to grow your languishing channel that never gets any views. One of the endless videos on how to bow and scrape and genuflect before the almighty malgorism. Tips and tricks that basically don't work. All right, enough of that. All right, so you go to, you open a new tab, and you type in download Cakewalk. Cakewalk by BandLab, and you click it, and you click download, and because I have Windows 10, it's prompting me to download the installer for Windows 10. If you have a Mac, it's going to prompt you to do that. Okay, click it, download it, install it. It takes 2 or 3 minutes. It's that easy. It's totally free. After that, go to airwindows.com. There are tools that we use in this kind of work, and you know, I like to call them tools because that's what they are, but the rest of the world knows them as plugins, so I'll try to refer to them as plugins from here on out. Plugins. Sometimes with a hyphen, sometimes without. This guy makes the best plugins on the face of the earth, and they're all for free, no strings attached. This guy is a genius, and he's an unsung hero, basically. So, go to his website, airwindows.com, download the Consolidated plugin. Consolidated plugin is here. This is where you should start for downloading Consolidated. Click that. It'll take you to GitHub, okay, and then he's got it for Linux, he's got it for Windows. I think, this is for Mac, okay? So if you're like most people nowadays, you're probably Windows 64-bit setup.exe. Click that, download it, install it. Less than a minute. You're done. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to start Cakewalk. And it looks like this. And if you're starting it for the first time, you're not going to have all these projects going like I have. But you're going to want to start a new project, and you're going to choose Basic. Click Basic. And there's going to be an audio track and a MIDI track If you don't know what MIDI is, don't worry about it. Just go to this part right here and right click and delete track. You don't need it. All you need is this audio track. And then go over here to the right panel and let me see. You can't see that because I'm in the way. Hang on. All right. Right over here, these double arrows right here where it says collapse. Click that, get that out of the way. You don't need that right now. And put myself back. All right. And then right here, you see where it turns into double arrows right there? Right there. Just slide that over until that thing that says FX right there, until it just starts to get narrower right there. Okay? All right. Now, go to YouTube and choose any song that you want, any song that you like. Doesn't matter if you're just doing this in the privacy of your own home. Where the hell did my... all right. My browser crashed on me. Okay, whatever. Restore? Yeah, restore. Okay, get out of the way. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm having to use a song recorded over 100 years ago because it's public domain. And then YouTube won't ding me for a copyright. Okay? Just make sure the audio's working here. Yeah, but you can choose any song that you want. You a classic rock fan? Download Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith. You an oldies fan? Download some Elvis, download some Buddy Holly, knock yourself out. You like Motown? Download some Aretha Franklin, some Marvin Gaye. Funkadelic. Did you come up in the 80s like I did? Download some Rat, some old, early Metallica, or some Zappa, or Joe Walsh, whatever the hell you're into. Download it. You can find it on YouTube. Find it. And let me see here. Well, I got all these tabs open. I'm going to drag this one all the way over to the end. Okay, so I've chosen Paul Whiteman and his orchestra, Hot Lips, 1922. And I'm going to open a new tab and download YouTube video and YT1D. I like that one. That works good. Usually this one usually gives you the option of just downloading the MP3, but it doesn't matter if it's MP3 or MP4. Works either way. So I'm going to go to the I'm going to Control C or right click and copy the URL, and I can Control V or right click and paste the URL, and there it is. Hot Lips, Paul Whiteman and his orchestra, 1922. I can download just the audio, or I can download the video with the audio. Either one will work. I'll download the video just to show you that the MP4 will work. So I'll download that, and hopefully I don't get any. See, no pop-ups or anything. Paul Whiteman and his orchestra, Hot Lips, is going to my downloads folder. And so now I'm going to minimize this, go back to Cakewalk, open up my downloads folder. And let me see, get that out of the way until I find downloads. All right, there it is. I'm going to drag my... all right, there we go. See? Paul Whiteman and his orchestra. It's an MP4. It's a video file, but look what happens. I click it and I drag it into my audio track. Not over here, right here. Right there. And I release the mouse button. And there it is. There it is. And now I can go back and get rid of that. Okay. And if I hit the space bar, okay. Now, so as you can see, this is the waveform of the audio. As you can see, there are two audio waveforms. Obviously, this was recorded 1921, 1922. It's in mono. All right. Technically, this is a stereo track. There's a left and right, but they're identical. See how they're identical? Okay. So it's technically a stereo track, but it's mono. Now, if I go down here and I drag this, you can see that it goes on for some ways. And the x-axis is time. And here's the ruler up here. I want to see time up there, so I'm going to right-click. I want to see units of time. I'm going to right-click that. Time ruler format. HMSF, that's hours, minutes, seconds, frames. Left click, and now I've got 0 second, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. I want to make this shorter so I can see the whole song in one window. So I'm going to go down here and move myself out of the way. And you see these magnifying glasses here with the minus and the plus. This is zoom out horizontal. That's zoom in horizontal. I want to zoom out, and that's going to bring the entire track into, I can see the whole thing. All right. Now there are times when you want to zoom in, times when you want to zoom out. We don't need to zoom in right now. I'm just going to click it once. That's good. We can basically see the whole thing right there. And I can also just play around with the interface. You can also do this. You can zoom in and out, vertical. Now, we have one audio track. In Cakewalk, you can do something called multi-tracking. If you want to get into recording your own stuff, you can get one of these here USB microphones. You can start with that. If you can bang out a few chords on an acoustic guitar and you got an acoustic guitar lying around, you can start with a USB microphone. And you can use the USB microphone to record a guitar track. Like, let's say that you record a guitar track and then you want to add another track for your vocal, and you can go to Insert, Audio Track, and click that thing, strip size, boom. And then here's the record button. You can record a separate audio track. That should be disengaging. Why isn't that? Okay, well, anyways. All right, anyways. That's topic for other videos. I do have, if you read the description, there is a crude tutorial series on how to build a song in Cakewalk that I made that series when I first started this channel. It's crude. I'm going to start another one. I'm going to do a better job this time. Okay? But I did a tutorial on how to do this. All right. Right now, we're just going to play around with this track and remaster it. I use that term very loosely, all right? I'm not a professional mastering engineer. Mastering is an erudite art and science. that takes specialized knowledge and equipment that I lack. I'm not making any claims to be a mastering engineer, so I'm using the term mastering. Although I have my own work that I have to be my own mixing and mastering engineer. I'm remastering an old album that I released 18 years ago, and I'm working on a new album. I'm not rich. I got to do all that myself to the best of my ability. But what we're doing here is we're just taking this old, more than 100-year-old recording, and we're going to use these tools called plugins to see what we can do to make this sound, I don't know, if not better, then maybe more interesting. Anyways, something that's better to do than drinking, or if not drinking, then sitting around thinking about how you can't drink. All right, enough of that. Here we go. So again, I'm doing this on the fly. And so I'm going to start with those Air Windows tools. Now, there are other plugins out there that you can download, and you're going to see some of these in the course of this video. All right? And you'll see the names of them, and you can go and find them and download them yourself. You can figure out how to do that. All right? So, but with Air Windows, the consolidated plugin, you use the Air Windows installer, you install it, and Cakewalk knows where it is. Cakewalk recognizes it. And so here's how we're going to use it, okay? We're going to start with, now I need to explain to you that this is an audio track. This is the song. It's in track 1. If I add another track, that's track 2, track 3, and so on. Right now, we're just dealing with one track, track 1. I click that here. I'm just going to call this Hot Lips. That's the name of the song. Hot. So I click in there, Hot Lips. Just give it a name. And you might notice that down here, oops, I need to move myself out of the way again. Down here, at the bottom of this vertical strip, it also says Hot Lips. 1, Hot Lips. 1, Hot Lips. This horizontal strip and this vertical strip are the same. Same channel strip. This is just a different representation of it. This is the volume slider, fader it's called. And this is the pan knob, and this is the mute button. This mutes it. See, now you can't hear it. Unmute, mute. Unmute, mute. I can do the same over here. Unmute, mute. And if there was another track and I only wanted to hear this one, I could click solo. And this track is soloed, okay? Don't worry about the rest of the buttons. Here is the volume fader. See? We want this to be at 0.0, which is this is digital audio. This is the world of digital audio. In the world of digital audio, just for now, think that our ceiling that we don't want to go over is 0.0. Right now, I hover over the volume fader, and you can see, okay, well, it was coming up a second ago, but right here, you can see it's at minus 17.6. Okay, I want to double click that fader, click, it's going to go, that brings it back to 0.0. All right, enough for now. Now, this is the master channel. If I have 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 17 tracks, all of those tracks are funneled into the master channel where they're combined into one signal. Okay? And so if I put a tool, this is where I insert a tool, a plug-in, to only apply to this track. And if I had another track here, I insert a plug-in here only to apply to this track, and so on. But if I want a plugin to apply to all the tracks, I put it here in the master channel effects rack. Okay? Now, for just reasons, I'm just going to use the effects rack in the master channel for our work during the course of this video, except for with one exception. Maybe more than one. Well, maybe more than one exception, but I'm not going to explain why right now. Okay, just watch. This is the effects rack. This is where the tools go, the plugins. I click plus. Insert audio effects. Now, it says right here, Air Windows Consolidated, because I use it all the time. This is stuff I use all the time, so it pops up at the top, okay? But Air Windows Consolidated, these are different types of plugins. Analyzer, delay, distortion, dynamics, EQ, so on. Air Windows, if you're finding it for the first time, it's going to come up under uncategorized. And I click Air Windows Consolidated. And there it is. It defaults at something called galactic reverb. Here's what that sounds like. Now, if I want to disable it, I'm going to go over here. You see where you see that glowing strip right there where it says Air Windows? That's this plugin. And if I click this button right here, bypass Air Windows Consolidated, there. Now you hear it without the plugin. I click it again. Okay. That's a very extreme reverb plugin. And it's set to that default for a reason. Because it's not going to damage anybody's speakers when you load the plugin suite. So I click here on these three bars, and here are all the plugins in this plugin suite, all the tools in this toolkit, and each one comes with an essay that explains in both in technical terms and in layman's terms for morons like me basically what it does. Okay, and then I just have to I get a basic understanding of what it's for, and then there's some knobs and things to tweak to figure it out. And I play things by ear. I have a pretty good idea of what these things do, most of them, all right? I've been at this pretty long time. But I generally just tweak things and I let my ear and my brain tell me if it's good or not, if it's what I want or not. Now, first thing I'm going to load here is under the category of tape. It's called 2Tape 8. This is a tape machine emulator. And rather than explain, I'm going to show, don't tell. Rather than explain it, I'm just going to insert it. And I'm going to turn up, I'm going to hit play. And without touching anything, I'm just going to hit play, spacebar's play. And without adjusting anything, you can see by default, all of the knobs are at 12 o'clock. And most of them say 0.5000, except for this one. That's the head frequency. It's set at 68.75 hertz. Chris, the creator, has a very good reason for that being the default. Generally, I don't touch that one because I trust Chris. Here I go. I'm going to hit the space bar. I'm going to hit play. First, I'm going to toggle this on and off and just A/B it. Let's see what it sounds like. So now it's off. On. Hear any difference? Neither do I. Now I'm going to start playing with knobs. First I'm going to try input. 69. Hear a difference? A little bit louder now, right? Okay. Now, we're going to check on levels. All right. Remember I told you we don't want anything going over 0.0. 0.0 is our ceiling in digital audio world, okay? Cakewalk is what's called a digital audio workstation, or DAW or DAW. And we're in digital audio world. This is an old analog recording that has been, this is very suboptimal. We're using an MP3, okay? But this is what we have to work with. It's good enough. We're in digital audio world. We don't want to go, we're using the master. This is the volume meter. This is the decibel meter. Okay? And I can see down here, this is the Hot Lips track. What we just played back. The track is peaking at minus 2.1. If I turn Air Windows, if I turn this 2-tape plug-in off and I play it back, watch where it's peaking. Hot Lips, the track is set at 0.0. The master bus is set at 0.0. Watch the levels. 2-tape, this plug-in is off, it's bypassed. Watch the levels. They're the same. They're peaking at minus 2.1. That means we have 2.1 decibels of headroom. Now I'm going to engage the plug-in. Now it's peaking at minus 0.4. So it's gotten quite a bit louder, but it's still fine. It's still below zero. Now, there are some people out there that'll get snooty and tell you that you shouldn't be peaking above minus 3. Don't listen to them. At least not for now. Right now, we just don't want to go over 0. Okay? And I'm going to play with something called a head bump right here. I'm going to take head bump up to 0.57. I'm going to take input down to 0.59. I'm going to turn head bump up to 0.59. I'm a weirdo. I like odd numbers. Here we go. Now we're peaking at, notice that the track is still the same. It's peaking at minus 2.1. Master's peaking at minus 1. I haven't inserted any tools in the track effects rack. This is going to stay the same. This is going to change the master, because that's where I've inserted the plug-in. Here's where it's changing. This is what we got to watch. Head bump. You hear that rumble? Listen. Hear that rumble? That's not doing us any good. This tool was recently updated. I was using 2-tape 6, and then it was updated, and I finally got my head around that. Then it was updated to 2-tape 7. I was just getting my head around that, and then Chris updated it to 2-tape 8. And I haven't started. I've got to figure it out. Normally, this thing is going to add more bass and more fullness. So far, it's only adding volume. And so I'm just going to play with it for a minute here. This is long format. Either you have the time for it or you don't. Okay, I'm just going to play with it. I'm not going to pause the video. I'm just going to play with it and see what happens. You can see what this is about. Okay, here we go. What the hell is that all about? I don't know. Old tape machine, this flutter. Well, we don't want that. Turn output up to 0.66. I turn output up all the way to 1. It's not peaking any higher. Okay, now output down to 0. I double click it. It's back to 0.5. It's peaking at minus 0.4. Interesting that I turn it all the way up. Sounds quite a bit louder, but it's not peaking any higher. I don't know why that is. Excuse me, I had an itch in my nose. I don't mean to be gross. I'm not sure why that is. Chris's tools work in mysterious ways sometimes. So input causes it to peak higher. Output does not. Now, I'm trying to figure out shape. See, I haven't read this yet. This explains everything. Tilt. I haven't played with tilt. So here we go. It's having very little effect. Okay, well, bias. Obviously, that's at 0.5, right? All right. Head bump is not doing us any good. Well, what the hell? I'll take more volume as long as it's not bringing in unpleasant distortion. Now, is it bringing in unpleasant distortion and or other artifacts, unpleasant results? I mean, is it? Let's A B it at 0.5 and 1. I'm kind of tired from starting at the beginning, so I'm going to start right here. I'm going to untoggle snap. Snap makes it snap. You see snap, 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 snap. That's annoying right now. There. It's not snapping. One interesting thing to note here. I want you to look at the bouncing green bars in the decibel meter in the master channel. Watch what happens when I turn output from 0.5 all the way up to 1.0000. Watch what happens. Now look at them right now. See how they're bouncing up and down? See them bouncing up and down? Now look what happens. Now it's going to start from the same place where it started before. And I'm going to turn it up to all the way up to 1.0000. Now watch the same bars. They're not bouncing like they were before, are they? That tells me that Chris has built some kind of compression and or limiter circuit into this plugin. So that it doesn't clip. But, so, I can get more volume by bringing this up to 1.0, but I'm losing something called dynamic range. Dynamic range is the volume difference between the quietest part and the loudest part. The more dynamic range, the more bounce you have in those green bars, the more they bounce up and down. Okay? And the less they bounce up and down, the less dynamic range you have. Okay? Now, this comes down to a matter of personal taste. I want to preserve some of that dynamic range because dynamic range makes music more natural sounding and more interesting. If you just crush the dynamic range out of a recording, it can just sound less lifelike, less interesting, and it can fatigue the brain with extended listening. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sacrifice dynamic range for increased volume. I'm going to leave that at 0.5. I'm going to take input up to, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it right where it is for now. I'm a little bit disappointed in 2-tape 8 right now. This is the first time I've ever used 2-tape, and it didn't add some like bass presence somehow. But it's probably not the fault of the plugin. It's probably just that this recording is so old and so thin on bass that the bass probably is just not there to bring out. It's probably what it is. So again, I'm just doing this on the fly, and I'm thinking as I go. So I'm going to leave that just the way it is right now, and I'm going to go back, insert audio effects. For now, I'm going to stay with Air Windows Consolidated. Air Windows Consolidated. Now, I'm going to try something else. Now, you see that I now have 2 bars, and they both say Air Windows Consolidated. Which one is which? Which one is which? Well, I know which one is which because I just inserted a new one, and whenever you insert a new plugin, it always goes at the bottom, which is the end of the chain. It always goes to the end of the chain or the bottom. So if I click on this one right here, click, you see it's 2-tape 8. If I click on this one here, that's Reverb Galactic, which is the default, which I just opened it to. And now, what the hell? I'm going to go with bass dub sub 2. I don't think it's going to work. But I'm just going to, but again, I'm just messing around on the fly. Dub sub 2, head bump. This is already, I think this is already built into 2-tape, at least in part, but I'm just going to see what happens, all right? And I'm going to put it, now, Here it is at the end. I'm going to drag it up before 2-tape. You see I dragged it up right there? Now, I click this one at the, now that's 2-tape. That's dub sub. And I'm just going to play around with it and see what happens. But I think it's the same circuit as the one that's built into 2-tape. It's probably not going to do anything, but let's give it a try. Well, let me A-B it. It's sounding more bassy, but it's just adding rumble. It's just adding rumble. When I worked with Jolson, it was a nicer recording. It actually had some bass frequencies to work with. This one really doesn't. Okay, so now I'm going to right-click on this one. Right-click, delete. Okay, I'm going to try something else. There's probably not a whole lot more I can do. At least that I know of, but I'm going to load another error windows. Here it is right here. And I'm going to try, I'm going to go to filter. I'm going to try one called Stonefire. And I'm not going to explain what it does. I am going to put it before 2-tape. So now, here's 2-tape, here's Stonefire. And I'm going to turn up Stone to 70. $71. I'm going to turn Fire down to 39. And I'm going to A-B it off. On. Okay, so basically, Stone is like low, mid-range, and Fire is medium to high mid-range, and Air is getting up in the trebles. What do I have to work with? I've got mid-range and trebles. I don't really have any bass to work with. So there's really no point in beating a dead horse, right? So I'm going to work with what I have to work with. Now, here's a question. The way this plugin is supposed to work is if you turn Fire up, you're supposed to turn Stone down and vice versa. I really don't see any point in turning Stone down. I'm just going to bring it back to default 0.5. I'm going to turn Air and Fire up. I hit playback again, A-B it. Now, you notice how it's making it a little bit louder, but it's not peaking any higher than negative 0.4. Now, check the bouncing bars. Is it making it less dynamic? We're getting an increase in volume. Couple questions. Is that coming at a cost of dynamic range? And that's let's say, consideration number one. Consideration number two, is it annoying? Is it pleasing or annoying? Usually it's one or the other. yeah, it's costing dynamic range. And that's a little bit annoying. So, Stonefire's out. Delete. Try something else. Air windows consolidated. Again, it comes in last. I'm going to drag it before 2 tape, and this time I'm going to go under effects, and I'm going to try one called Energy 2. This one has a lot more knobs. This one is, okay, it kind of looks like an EQ. You can kind of look at it like an EQ. It doesn't work like it doesn't work like an EQ. It's a different kind of tool. Okay, but you can think of it as basically mid-range to trebles, okay? With snarl being the lowest frequencies and hiss being the highest frequencies. This one might boost the signal a bit without killing dynamic range. It might. So I'm just gonna take a wild guess here. I'm gonna bring snarl up to 50-ish. Yower up to 40. This is just a stab in the dark. Chug up to 30. Scrape up to 20. And fizz up to 10. Or 15 or whatever. 10. Rat, I'm going to leave it 0. Glitter, I'm going to do 20. And hiss, I'm going to do 30. Now it's peaking at, okay, minus 0.4. Look at the bouncing bars. They're still bouncing. Let's A B it. I'm hearing a very subtle difference. I'm hearing a subtle increase, if not in volume, then in presence. Let's call it presence. It's a very nuanced difference, but I hear it. Can you? Now I'm just going to play with the knobs a bit. Now I maxed them. What's happening? No dynamic range. And it sounds awful. Listen to this piano. Now I got chug turned all the way up. I like chug. Snarls all the way down. Still got plenty of dynamic range. Now I got snarl and chug maxed. Now I'm going to turn it back on. Let's look at dynamic range during that section, bypassed. Look at the bouncing bars, okay? This is bypassed. Let me click this here. This is going to reset it. This is meter peak. It's reset. So it's like, it's bouncing between like negative 3.3 and negative 1. Watch what happens when I engage this tool called Energy Tool, this plugin called Energy 2. Yep, dynamic range gone. I'm bringing snarl back down to 0. I'm leaving chug at 1. Let's check dynamic range again. Okay. Now, that's acceptable. It's still bouncing a bit. Is it bringing something to the table, however subtle? Yes, it is. It makes that trumpet brighter and more present. The piano, I think it's also helping the piano. Now, maybe I can compensate by dragging something else down that maybe I don't want. Maybe rat. Let's drag rat down to 0. See what happens. Or -1. Okay. So default is 0. Rat's now at -1. Rat at 0. Rat and fizz are down to -1. Got plenty of dynamic range going. Fizz back to 0. You hear the diff? Just has more life, more brightness, more life. It's not annoying in any way, at least to me. To me, it's an improvement. And so I've got chug maxed out at 1. I've got rat down to -1. I think it's an improvement. For now, I'm just going to leave it at that. We've improved the signal. It sounds clearer. It sounds more vivid, more present, more alive to me. And I preserved dynamic range. Sounds even a tiny bit louder. Okay. Energy 2 is a wonderful tool. Now, what else am I going to try? Yeah, I'm going to try one called Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Air windows. Again, it's coming in at the end. Galactic. All right, this one is classified under stereo. It's called 2-vinyl. 2-vinyl 14 is a vinyl mastering simulator bringing several vinyl type colors. It's more than that. This is a weird tool, but I like it. I'm going to see what it does here. I'm going to drag it to the beginning at the top right here. There it is. Now I'm going to A-B it. Still got a good bounce over here. Less than before, though. I'm going to bypass it. It's not really bringing in anything. Delete. Okay, what else? Reverb. Wait a minute. Air windows. Right, I'm staying in air windows. All right. Air windows. You see. No, I'm not going to do any filters. No. No. Subtlety. Yeah, why not? Let's try this one. Purest warm. Purest warm, I'm going to leave at the end here. And it's got two controls. I'm just going to bring them both up to 1. Let's see what happens. Now we're peaking at minus 3.9 with this purest warm. Maxed out at, it's got 2 knobs, one for left and one for right. Okay. And they're both maxed out at 1.0000. Let's A-B it. Say B in it. Do you hear any difference? I don't hear too much difference myself. In my humble. Okay, I'm not going to delete it. Why do I keep deleting these? And why do I keep deleting air windows and re-adding air windows? It's stupid. Dane Bramage. I can just, I don't have to do that. Why am I doing that? I can just go here and choose another air windows tool. You see? This is, but it's another tiny little baby step in healing the Dane Bramage. So I'm going to go to brightness and something called slew 2. And I'm just going to bring it up to around 0.5. And we're going to A-B it. Again, I'm leaving it at the end here. See how it's clipping now at minus 0.7? right there, that when that horn comes in, right there, off, on, off, on. It's so subtle, man. Okay. Slew 2 controls extreme highs. It just takes a little, it doesn't take any brightness off of that trumpet. It takes a little edge off of it, though. These tools can be really, really subtle. And but we're using them in a very sort of crude fashion, in a crude situation. In other situations, the effects are not so hard to discern. Okay, but in this case, I can max this thing out, and I'm just listening to. I thought I'd just plug it in and see if it just made that trumpet sound a little bit less brash, a little bit, just a tiny bit less brash. And I think it does. Off. Wait, off. On. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining it, huh? But on. That's a better place to test it. Off. Yeah. Listen to the spaces between the trumpet notes. The spaces between the trumpet notes. This is off. On. Hang on. There's some kind of water sound going on. I gotta see what's going on. All right. I guess that was like the upstairs neighbor draining their bathtub. But if you made it this far, you get to see Chance the bunny rabbit eat his noodle. Come on. Take your noodle. Come on. You know you want it. Take it. There you go. Eat your noodle. Come on, eat your noodle. Gluten-free buckwheat noodle. This is snack of choice. Come on, Chance. Eat your noodle, Chance. He's like, dude, why don't you just put me down, let me enjoy my noodle? He's so patient. See the noodle hanging out of his mouth? He's just waiting for me to put him down. Like, dude, can't I just enjoy my noodle in peace? Come on. All right, buddy. All right. Enjoy your noodle, Chance. No, he dropped it. Here. Dum-dum. Here. Here. There it is. There you go. Now he's going to start chewing on things, and I'm going to have to pause it. All right. Anyways, where were we? All right. Yep, he's getting into the garbage. Slew 2, that's right. Oh, yeah. Listen to the space between the trumpet notes. Hang on. Hear the crackle? The crackle of the recording? I'm going to disengage. Now, engage. That crackle is just a little bit less crackly and apparent. Now, that's kind of part of the excitement of the old recording, right? That crackling. So it's a matter of taste, right? Off. On. I'm going to leave it on. I kind of like it on. Okay, and I think this is about as far as I can. There's one other air windows that I might try. Yeah, I'm going to try it. Okay, so insert audio effects. Air windows consolidated. I'm going to drag this to the front. What are you going to do, buddy? All right. Should I drag it to the front? Yeah, all right. So top is the front of the chain. And we're going to go with, noise. Tape. No, it's to add noise. Anyway, never mind. What was I going to try? He jumped in his box. Now he's going to start eating his box. I'm going to have to move him. All right. Focus, Matt. All right, here we go. All right, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Stereo. I'm probably not going to use this, but okay, wider. And width, I'm going to put it 50. And let's try that first. A being now off. Yeah. There's only so much you can do with something this primitive, you know? And these tools. Now, these are great tools, all right? They're the best. They're the best tools out there for most applications. These are mostly designed for modern recordings, specifically modern digital recordings that you want to make them sound less digital and more analog. Right? This is the first time I'm using these plugins, these tools in this fashion. The first time was with Mr. Jolson. That was, again, much better recording, much better quality recording than this one. And so the Air Windows plugins worked better with that one. Okay, so I'm learning as I go here. This is not really doing anything. I'm going to try just, let's see, saturation. Yeah, okay, forget stereo. I'm going to try tube. All right, tube 2 extends to with more sophisticated processing and input trim. Okay, it's supposed to add tube warmth. You know what tubes are, right? Let's just try it. Let's just A-B it at first. We're peaking at minus 1.1. Tube up to 0.7. Watch our dynamic range over here. Off. Let's go back to that. Right there. see how the 2 meters are bouncing basically the same way? The hot lips meter and the master meter. Now I turn on tube. Master's bouncing a little bit less. Now the question is, do my ears and brain like it? Sounds fuller and louder. One might be a bit extreme. Let me bring tube to 0.73 and input to 0.57. Okay, to me, it's adding more fullness and life and a little bit of warmth to the signal. It's not killing the dynamic range. And my ears and brain are telling me that it's fine. And Chance is not chewing on his house. He's just sitting there. He's just being such a good little dude. He's just chilling. Okay, that's cool. All right, so I think I'm done with the air windows. Is there anything else? Hang on. Again, I like odd numbers. I want 5 air windows, not 4. 4 is an unlucky number in this part of the world. Air windows. Again, it goes to the end. Ah, yeah, I thought I might try a reverb. Why not? Ah, no. Well, yeah, see, that's not going to do any good. That's not going to do any good, is it? Is it? Oh, why the hell not? Yeah, let's not do a reverb. Let's do a console emulator. You know what a mixing console is? Console emulator emulates mixing consoles like Neves and Quad 8s. Except Chris's console emulators, some of them don't emulate any console that ever existed in the physical universe. Okay, anyway, this one does. This one emulates a console from the early to mid 70s called the Quad 8. This is called Console LA. I'm going to put Console LA bus in the master channel at the end of the chain right here. And I'm going to go to the track effects rack. I'm going to hit FX, insert audio effects, air windows consolidated, consoles, and I'm going to insert Console LA channel. Channel goes in the track, bus goes in the master. Okay? And let's just give it a listen. Oh, we're peaking. We're clipping now. Clipping. Listen to that. All right. Or look at that. Listen to that too. Let's go back here. That's with the console emulator off. Now, well, half of it off. Okay. On. Clipping. All right. Does it sound any different? It's not sounding any better. Look, we're We're sending a recording from the early 1920s through something that's emulating a console from the mid-1970s. Doesn't make any sense. Just doing it to see what happens, right? But let's try another console emulator. Let's try one that never existed in the real world. Let's try Purist console channel. And over here, Purist console bus. Let's see what happens. Now we're clipping at positive 1.5. So, I'm curious, is it going to make this sound any better? What if I back this down to minus 1.8? See how master's back down to 1.8, minus 1.8? It's compensating. Now it's peaking at minus 0.3. See that? The question is, does it bring something to the table? So now I've got console purist channel off, and console purist, what is it called again? Purist console channel off, Purist console bus off. On. Yeah, it's bringing a little something, man. Just a little something. Just a little something. If you can't hear it, don't sweat it. Just for the hell of it, I'm going to try. No, I'm not going to try console 0. There's no point. I'm going to try console MC channel. And console MC bus. Again, bringing a little something, not much, but a little something. Last, I'm going to try console 9 channel and console 9 bus. Now you can see it's peaking a lot lower here. Attenuating it. I'm going with, why not? I'm going with MC channel. This has some knobs to play with here. Hang on. And MC bus. Whoops. treble, mid, freak, mid, peak, bass. Mid, freak, mid, peak. Mid, freak. That's probably 200 and... It's probably 2.5 kilohertz, I'm guessing. Mid, freak, yeah. I'm not going to read all this right now. This stuff is really complicated. And I really don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just playing around. This is what you do. Mid-peak. Damn. You hear that? Oh, shit. That's quite the difference in sound. There's a very marked tonal difference here, right? Takes the background noise out of it in a way, doesn't it? That background scratchiness, that record noise. Usually I don't move Chris's frequency settings because that's what happens usually. There's a fader setting. So I'm clipping over here. If I bring the fader down. So now I can leave the master at 0.0. I just bring this fader means volume. I bring that down to 0.33. I'm not clipping over here anymore. Well, doesn't that sound like, I mean, see, usually, almost always there's a trade-off, right? So, this is interesting. Listen to what happens when I just like A-B the whole console emulator. Channel and bus. All right. Now, on. Now listen to that. I'm just going to bypass everything. That whole thing off, that whole thing off. Here's the original. You hear the background rumble? Right there? You know, that background rumble. Now everything on. It's still there, but it's not as rumbly. Now, I'm not going to focus on that background. I'm going to focus on the sound of the trumpet. Off. Everything off. Everything off. Everything on. Off. sounds better to me with it. It just sounds like less noisy. Okay, sacrificing some of the, I guess, some of the vintage, old-timey charm, I guess you could say. But I kind of like it. It's at mid-peak 1, Let's just play with mid-peak, this knob again. Now listen to the rest of the orchestra when I bring this knob from 0 to 1. It brings the orchestra, it makes the orchestra more audible. It adds fullness to the rest of the instruments, the ensemble, orchestra, whatever it is. I think it's called, what is it? Whiteman and his orchestra? I think that's why I like it. Here comes the... Maybe a compromise. Let's bring it to 75. But see, like between 75 and 1, that's like where the real effect starts to happen. Doesn't really start to kick in until the 80s. It's kind of all or nothing, man. I kind of like it the way I like this. So this is what twiddling around with shit does. Even if I haven't read this whole blurb here. I don't. Sometimes he tells you exactly how he intends something to be used. But then he's cool and he'll say, well, you might, this is how I intend it to be used. Doesn't mean you have to use it that way. He'll say that. He'll, at the end of the day, use your ears, use your brain. I'm kind of liking this. I'm going to go with it. Fuck it. I'm calling it. Okay. It sounds different. And it sounds... To me right now, it sounds better. I could change my mind tomorrow. Anyway, okay, so we're over an hour and a half here, and I'm not going to go too much longer. I'm going to add one more thing. Just because I think it's cool and I like it. All right, I'm going to go to the track effects rack, and I'm going to add this thing called Acon. It's under, where is it? I forget. It's under, oh yeah, it's under delay. I don't know why. Acon Digital Multiply. Now I don't know. It worked really pretty well with the Jolson recording. But we'll see how well it could sound really terrible with this. I don't know. I'm going to choose, this is called a preset. So this is not an Air Windows tool plugin. If you want to find this one, you're going to go onto the internet and you're going to type in download Acon Digital Multiply. And you can see right here it says Multiply Hot Lips. That's the track I'm applying it to. Right there. And this one has presets, all these presets. So I hit a preset, it's going to turn all these knobs and everything to a preset. And I'm going to choose a safe one called Enhanced Stereo. And it's going to, even though this is not a stereo recording, it will never be a true stereo recording, but it's going to make it sound kind of like a stereo recording. And you see how the two bars in the master channel decibel meter are now bouncing differently from one another? It's fake stereo. Okay? Okay, it's like, bacon bits or fake bacon, but they're still good. Don't tell me you never snuck into the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning and just crunched down a couple of handfuls of bacon bits. Okay, maybe you didn't. Maybe you got to be a drunk to do stuff like that. I don't know. It's like, Hawaiian punch. It's not fruit juice, but sometimes it is what it is. It's fake stereo. I'm going to hit the equalizer. I'm going to engage the equalizer and see if we can hear that difference. Oh, I forgot. This should be before the console emulator. Okay. Bypass. Let's try an even more. Let's try Dimensioner 1. Interesting. Let's try. Notice we're clipping. So we're going to have to compensate for that. Let's try Dimensioner 2. Let's try in some different settings here. No. No. Try with that. There. Dimensioner 1. Stereo. Enhanced stereo. I don't know. I'm kind of liking. Usually, I'll go with more subtlety, but I'm kind of this time just listening with my whole head. I'm kind of liking Dimensioner 2. Dimensioner 1 is more dramatic. It's That's cool. But it's clipping at plus 0.3. What's it doing to our bounciness? Still got pretty good dynamic range. We're just clipping. So I don't want to teach you any bad habits. So I'm going to do the responsible thing. You see here now, there's things you can play with. There's stereo spread, there's depth, there's frequency modulation and amplitude modulation. You can tweak this. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now. You can tweak the equalizer. I'm not going to do it. This is all tweakable. Okay? But this video is getting long enough. I'm just going to go to, we're peaking, we're clipping by about 0.2, 0.3. Effect level is, okay, let's take dry level down to minus 0.3. Effect level down. All right. Well, I might as well. Here's where I'm going to make up for it. There's no point in doing. Okay. All right. I'm going to remove Acon. I'm going to reinstall it. And what setting were we using again? Dimensioner 2? No, Dimensioner 1. Okay, we're back at 0.0 and minus 3. We're back at the default settings for this preset. I'm going to go back into my Air Windows, not slew 2, but to tape. Input drive is up to 0.63. I'm going to take it down to 0.59. Now we're peaking at, okay, 0.0. Might as well just, I don't know. Now I'm bypassing 2 tape 8. And it's clipping by even more. Engage 2 tape 8. Two tape is adding tape compression. Derp. I can take input down to 0.5. Okay, so it's a little bit less dynamic. All right. 2 tape 8, input drive 0.53. And I think that's it. That's bypass, that's the original. There's everything on. Original. Hear that rumble in the background? Everything on. Rumble's still there, just not as pronounced. All right. Let me see. Yeah, it's enough for now. What do you do? It's 1922. You know, there's probably more I could do. There is more I could do, actually. Yeah, there is more I could do. Should I? Let me pause it for a second, think about this. All right, I'm back. I tried something just for the hell of it. Why not? This is another plugin. This is not so easy to get. You got to jump through some hoops to get this one, but it's worth it. This is called Finisher Micro. This is what's called a compressor plugin, but it's a really nice one with some cool settings on it. This is just a wild card I threw in there. I put it on in the track effects rack. Okay, air window should be last. And yeah, I'll put it after the Acon dimensioner setting. And this is on a setting called Big Hair. This is supposed to be a 1980s sounding compressor with some kind of slapback reverb. This is just okay. Just we're playing around here. Why not? This is the setting called Big Hair. This is the amount knob. This is the amount of the effect that we want. We got other things like phaser, chorus, flanger, okay? Ambiance is a reverb, hanger reverb, some other shit that's not going to be appropriate. Old radio, rotor cab. But this thing right here is called Big Hair. And I'm just going to stop real quick. First I'm just going to play it and A-B it, and you see if you can hear the difference. Now it's on. Off. Listen to those clarinets. You okay? I'm almost finished. All right, I got to go here in a minute. But listen to the clarinets. You hear that when I stop? You hear that? Watch. Hear that? That trail off? Now if I bypass it, it just stops dead. You hear that slight trail off? It's very subtle. but it just adds a little bit of fullness. If I turn it up too much, that's too much. Way too much, right? But if I put it right there, okay, all right, I gotta go. I need to attend to family matters. Okay, so one more time, just A-Bing everything off from the beginning. This first 5 seconds, everything on. Is it better? I don't know. Kind of hinges on that mid-peak, doesn't it? Okay, I'm leaving it there. I gotta go. That's it for, and I'll save this as, let's see, I had, what did I call it? Al Jolson was, April Showers, Al Jolson. So I'll call this Hot Lips. And what was his name? Whiteman? Whiteman. Something Whiteman. Save. Saved. Okay. That's it from lovely scenic Paju City, South Korea. Alcoholic audio engineer over and out.